If you remember, Jesus said that we needed to become like little children to get into the kingdom of heaven. And believe me, you need to work with preschoolers, and then you know why. They believe that Daddy can do anything, so of course, so can God. So their faith is strong. I've been coming to Freshwater for 45 years. I started serving because I enjoy kids and little ones, and I think the 2-year-olds was what was open at that time. So that's where we started. My husband was 6'4", and to see him sit on the little chairs like that was hysterical.
I think of Marge, and I just think of her whole family. So her earliest memories are of her and Pete serving together. But her daughter, Wendy, was our kids' quiz coach while they were growing up school age and did Bible quizzing at the church. So her whole family has this legacy of serving and being an example of serving to other people. So.
I stayed with her for 45 years as easy because of the kids. They're just, they're precious, and they always make you smile.
Growing up at Freshwater Sunday School, I can just remember coming to my classroom and seeing Marge's smiling face. Always greeted you with a warm smile, her kindness, and made coming to Sunday school so much more fun. My favorite was her felt board stories, because she would sit next to the felt board and go through the whole story that we were learning that day with just the biggest smile, and it was so much fun.
The first thing I think of Marge, I think like all of us do, is just her warm smile and her eagerness and willingness to always serve wherever is needed. I just think of the word faithful, like she's always been faithful to serve. And so for me, it was really her pouring into just by leading by example.
I helped for a long time at the old church with the funeral meals. So, and I enjoyed doing that, but that was a pleasure because some of the people, you know, we had known, and this was a way to kind of pay back and help their family in some small way.
She really led and showed what it was like to be a Christ follower, and how to have a servant's heart in serving. And that to me is just, she always came with I get to do this, not I have to do this. And I think that's a really good example of someone who follows Jesus and is a really good servant.
I think of 3 things about Marge that really, when I think of legacy, I think of the fact that she taught, and all those years she taught about Jesus. So I love that my kids were able to listen and learn under Pete and Marge. And I think about how she loved my children. She still loves them. She still asks about them. I think about how she prayed for them. And I know she still does that too, because we're all still in touch with each other. So that's just a great legacy, I think. And I think of my 2 children, think of all the other children that she's touched that same way. So
it's very important that these kids start building their faith when they're young like this, because as we know, you got to get them young sometimes. Vacation Bible School was always a joyful time. At the end of the week, you were exhausted, but it was fun because there was always a lot of energy and you know, happiness.
Marge was always willing to come and serve not only in kids ministry, but also in the ministry of Beulah on the Road, where we serve food to the teens that serve and also the counselors from Beulah. And she'd always come in with a smile and always an eagerness to just do whatever needed to be done. Dishes, she was always doing dishes, setting all the silverware stuff out, plates, serving food, whatever she could, and it was such a blessing.
Beulah on the beach is wonderful. It's just really, the group that comes is so good with the kids, and the kids know they can go to them and talk to them, you know, and that means a lot. You're still tired at the end of the week, but it's a joyful time.
The comparison is really cool to see that Marge had a lot of these kids possibly that were serving as co-counselors at Botter. And then also she's serving them food as teenagers when she served them as young children.
Some of the kids that I taught, I had their kids when I, quit. And every time they would say something, it would be like, I didn't realize that was going to, make a difference for them. So I'm glad that that's true.
We served with Marge, we did different ministries, but then now as I look at our daughter and her daughter serving under her in Awana as group leaders, or as I watch junior high girls work in gyms here, a lot of those that may have had Marge if they've been here long enough. So I think just the continued faithfulness of service is a great example to the rest of us.
It's the best having Marge as a Sunday school teacher. So I can look back on my years going to Sunday school and think, wow, that lady was so sweet, so kind, and so warm. And now I have my almost 4-year-old sprinting down the hallway, excited for Sunday school, and knowing that she got to learn from someone else that I learned from is just really sweet.
She's so genuine, she loves you, and she does it unconditionally.
You're gonna have to edit that part because I'm getting all misty.
So one of the things I love about Marge is when I walk in on Sunday mornings and she's there at the door with a big smile. And it's fun to be able to come into church and know that she's going to be there to meet us and greet us.
Well, that I can still open a door and smile. So be sure to say hi, and I love hugs. So if you want a hug, I'm a hugger.
45 years of service is a long time. I haven't even been alive that long. And it's just really neat to see someone who is so dedicated and committed to serving our kids, loving them well, and someone who's willing to then step up to the front doors and just greet us as we come through the doors. If anything, that has just been an example to me of how I want to strive and serve our church.
Just sort of think about the legacy of service that she leaves behind. Not only is it doing the service in the body that's important, I think being seen, as much as most of us would prefer not to be seen and up front and things like that, but to be seen being faithful and to be performing a service for the body sets an example for the others in the body that maybe haven't found their niche for serving yet.
The younger people are the lifeblood of the church, and I think that they, when you see them stepping in, then I know the church is going on and going to be strong because they're serving. And that's important that they serve.
I would just want to say thank you, Marge, for just the way that you served, and you served our church well, and just you poured into these young kids' lives and even our teens. So I just want to say thank you for just what an example you've been.
Marge, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for how kind you always have been.
I guess just a big hug and a thank you for serving. She's been such a model for us, and I appreciate that so much about her.
I really appreciate that we are now coming to Tuesday morning Bible studies together. I mean, let's be honest, when I was your student in Sunday school, would you have thought that that would be something we'd be doing together? And here I get to sit next to you at a table, and I get to hear you still share your thoughts, still share your mind, and just teaching scripture to me, and we're doing it as adults, and I just love that sweet time we get together.
And I just want to say that we really love you, Marge.
Marge, I love you.
We love you,
Marge.
That gets me all misty.